Hello and welcome or welcome back. My name is V, and today I would like to talk about some of my first impressions from Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Now, I would normally record this with my camera and pretty much my ordinary setup, but I'm literally sitting here on a Sunday night, fully exhausted, and I really wanted to do a video, but I just have no energy to look like a normal person, so I think I'm just gonna keep it casual and probably throw in some footage for you to look at. There will be no spoilers in this video, like I'm keeping it really low key, and I'm probably just going to show you myself running through grasslands. But anyway, when it comes to how I really feel about the game itself, I don't think there's any way to describe it other than me being absolutely in love with it. There are things that I wanted to bring up and talk about in this video, and like I already mentioned, there will be no lore spoilers. So if you want to hear my opinion on the game itself, or if you're on the edge or verge of buying it, and you're wondering if this is something that's worth your money and your time, it might be a good video to watch. If you happen to be new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. If you like the video in the meantime, leave a like on it as well. And without further ado, let's jump in. So, as a full disclaimer, I've only been playing the game for about 14 hours, and these 14 hours were enough to take me from grasslands to pretty much the beginning of Junon, and that is where I stopped. When it comes to the sheer amount of content that I got to do in these 14 hours, I am still pretty baffled. Most of it I did do on stream, which you can also check out here on the channel. But there are some side bits and pieces, mostly side combat content other than just, story and the side quests and other things that I did off stream to just pretty much, sit there and relax a little bit and just run through the grasslands. I think that the amount of content that I'm seeing throughout this entire game is more than I've ever seen in a game's map. I knew that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth was going to be an open world experience, but I did not know to which extent it's going to be. And I have to say, if you're a fan of big maps, a lot of side activities, mini games, and just stuff that will keep you busy until you choose to do the main storyline, I think that this game might just be something that is up your alley. When it comes to combat itself, I have to say that I struggled a little bit at the beginning, as I've recently been pretty much playing turn-based games. I try to juggle between turn-based RPGs and action RPGs, as both genres are very dear to me and have some fantastic games. But I'll admit that it took me a hot minute to adjust myself to the playstyle, to bind all of my keys, to kind of figure out what I'm gonna do with my party. And I have to say that if you're just, playing on easy mode, and if you just want to see the story, that you will have no significant issues with this game, that you can just pretty much learn a few combos, and at least for now, just kind of go with that. Now, I can't speak for the further enemies that you'll see down the line, but I also don't know if you'll need to know any more than that or not. I personally feel like basic ARPG knowledge will be enough. You just need to basically hold your controller and know how to press a few keys. But if you're playing on normal, or God forbid a hard mode, you'll need to know a little bit more. And this is where the game gets a little punishing if you are not doing side content and exploration. So even for normal mode, I was, pretty much forced into doing side content, collecting the crafting materials from the side combat and the side quests, and crafting enhanced versions of the gear and collecting gear pieces from side content itself to equip to my party so that I could finish with the chapter 2 boss. That's pretty much how I felt the experience was. I felt that it was a little punishing since my party wasn't fully leveled. At that time, I hadn't gone through the combat simulator, and overall I struggled with that a little bit. But once I equipped my full party with their new gear and I distribute them did the materia that I was able to get from the combat simulator, I had no issues whatsoever, and I'm pretty sure that you won't have any either. Overall, the game feels much more expanded when it comes to the whole combat system than Final Fantasy VII Remake, if you had the chance to play it. And I think you'll be pleasantly surprised in case you do enjoy the combos. You'll be surprised by just how well the synergy system fits into the game, which is basically the party members being able to team up with a certain party member from your party and perform an action that both looks good and deals a ton of damage. And sometimes it just gets to save your butt in combat. I've personally really enjoyed them. And what I find really, really interesting is that the more you use a certain person in your party, and the more you do these combat actions with them, the more your relationship with that person changes. So the so-called social links and the combat system are intertwined in a way which I thought was extremely curious, but I am yet to see how that's going to reflect onto the game itself. Now, when it comes to the graphics, I think that if you followed any of my previous content, you know that I'm not this super picky person that just enjoys kind of nitpicking and trash talking games for, a few blurred pixels or whatever. I am overall pretty happy with the game. For that to be fully transparent, I have to tell you about my circumstances and how I play the game. Since I do stream the game and I don't have my PlayStation directly connected to my streaming software and hardware, what I do is I stream it with the help of PlayStation Remote Play. So the game actually loads on the PlayStation, but it is broadcasted onto my not even PC, but the second screen that is attached to my laptop. So since my laptop doesn't produce the picture in its original quality, I have to say that unfortunately I don't see this kind of image right now, even though I would really, really want to. But if I'm playing on TV, which is something that I was doing on off stream, that is, I had a really, really good experience, even better than when I was using the second screen that was attached to my laptop. So I think that the game overall looks fantastic, that the majority of you who are considering playing this game on PlayStation or are playing this game on PlayStation will simply load it there and watch it on your TV. And I'm going to go out on a limb and assume that you have a better TV than me. So you will probably see the game in its glorious state, and I don't think you'll be disappointed. The only thing that I haven't explored yet, so please don't take my word for this because I need to do some further research, is whether or not I can control any of the motion blur settings. Which is something that I did notice anytime that I am on a chocobo and the chocobo speeds up a little bit. So I did notice that the game gets slightly blurred, but that is something that I'm going to have to research a little further. Again, I am very sorry for the chaotic nature of this video, and I already said at the beginning it's going to be really casual. It's not really a review, more so than the discussion, so don't take my word for everything, and do consider that I've only played like 14 hours of the game. When it comes to the music, if you are a fan of the music guiding you through moods and through events and just being there to invoke these feelings and thoughts and emotions and everything that you want to be feeling when you're playing a very good RPG, you're definitely not going to be disappointed with this one. Now, there are some pretty iconic tracks that we know from the original Final Fantasy VII game that I am yet to hear in the game, but so far I am very, very happy with the remasters, I guess, of the songs that the team has produced for the zones and for the events and bosses and everything that I've seen so far. The music has been absolutely fantastic. Final Fantasy is known for its high quality music in all the games, and this game does not disappoint. And it is something that really helps when you choose to do the side content in a certain zone, because you don't want to just kind of run through a zone and feel like the mood is dead pretty much. The music does keep you vibing and going around and collecting your gathering items and killing monsters and everything. So when it comes to music, I'm having a blast. I love it. And I'm very, very much looking forward to seeing what the rest of the game has to offer when it comes to that. Now, I left the story discussion for the end, not because I want to give you spoilers, because I'm not going to give you spoilers, but just because there is not much to say if I'm not getting into any particular spoilers, which I would also like you not to do in the comments of this video for the sake of both myself and other people who are going to be reading these comments as well. I am so far really impressed with how meaningful they've made the relationships between the characters. There are some cutscenes where the characters get to talk to one another. It's not that it didn't happen in the original game, it did. But this really makes you understand the implications of their social interactions in a much better way, in my opinion, than Final Fantasy VII Original was able to offer. Unfortunately, even though it is a fantastic game, I still stand by that. It is something that was, I guess, run over by time in a way that we don't see these social interactions the same way in Final Fantasy VII Original, the way we see them in the rest of the more modern titles that we are now used to. But Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is really honoring what Final Fantasy VII Original game has kind of placed as a foundation of this, well, at this point, franchise. And I am very, very happy to experience the relationships, especially how they change and how they deepen if you do the side quests, which I highly recommend, even though some of them at first might seem like they're, a little weird or maybe not worth your time. The side quests are actually something that deepens your relationship with the characters. And for me, that's something that's super, super impactful, especially knowing how Final Fantasy VII Remake works and how you essentially get additional cutscenes and interactions in game if you do go through the side quests. So I highly recommend it, and so far I am loving the story. They're doing it a huge honor. And like I said, I don't know much about the story yet because I was trying to avoid the main quest a little bit, but I hope to enjoy it, and I hope you will as well. That's pretty much it that I wanted to say. I don't want to keep you too long, as this video is pretty much on the casual side, and I'm just kind of jumbling it together so that I get to share my thoughts and hear yours as well before I go and do a lot more of the story. I'll make another review, which will be, a more comprehensive one, a better, I guess, thought out one, and just something that will serve as an actual game review. This is not a review. This is just more like my first impressions on the game after 14 or so hours. Thank you for listening, and what I'm really, really, really curious about is what you think about the game, whether or not you played it, it doesn't matter. I want to hear your expectations, your impressions so far. Please, if you're joining the comment section, keep it spoiler-free for everyone who is listening to the video, participating in it, and so on and so on. Do leave it a like, and if you would like to join my live streams, I'm currently playing through Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. You can find me here on YouTube, on VPlays. You can find me on Mom's Den on both Twitch and Kick currently, and you can find me on Mom's Den on Twitter as well, Instagram, TikTok, pretty much everywhere. I multi-stream, so you can pick your poison and I'll see you there. Thank you so much for watching. You'll find all of my links in the pinned comment and in the description of this video. And without further ado, I am off to probably grind a little bit more of the side content in Junon before the live because I can't stop myself. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye.